So, if you can get through this whole video, well, you're guaranteed to get years of crypto knowledge broken down into a basic format. So let's talk crypto philosophy. The tech world has undergone so many changes. In fact, some of you may not have remembered or actually even come across beepers. These little devices use this beep to let you know someone's trying to contact you. I know some of our parents were really privy to that device, right? Well, after beepers came what? Well, we got these cool devices like Blackberries, cell phones. After cell phones, well, it just keeps going. That's because tech constantly undergoes changes, and these changes seem to be for the better. And we call these upgrades, right? So it seems simple, but it's important to know that having the good foundation and understanding that what we're diving into is technology and that it needs to upgrade and that it upgrades based on demand, well, that's what's most important, or at least somewhat important in our foundation. Now, when it comes to the curve of technology, we like to refer to something called the network effect. And the network effect is very prevalent in technology because it deals with how many people are coming into this technology and then placing value on the technology that they're finally using, right? Or have been given the chance to use. So when multiple people come into the technology, and this technology can be new, they will say, I like this, and give it a rating, right? And share that with their friend. And then their friend may buy that, and their friend may buy that. And that is known as the network effect. Or, in advertising world, we call that what? Word of mouth advertising. So it's not technically the same, but if you have to think of it in that light, the technology curve has this networking effect where people don't know of the tech up until the point where everyone is using it. So this is why understanding that technology does upgrade and that our internet is a technology and it's upgrading, this is why it's important. The next tip is the dot-com boom. This is interesting because with the tech upgrades, we bring ourselves to the dot-com boom where websites were raced to be made. The Nike.com, Amazon.com, and these websites were being made because they realized that they finally could do something they've never done before, and that is having a business online. It's actually incredible for some of us to think about when it comes to, did people have a business online, right? Some of these businesses literally have been alive since before the web, and some of us don't even know that there was no such thing as no web, right? So it's important to know that the dot-com boom was a race to have an online establishment, an online business. And the reason you were racing, because being first netted you a lot of proceeds. It planted a lot of seeds in the soil, because being the first shoe company to be on the .com and sell yourself online and be able to mass distribute yourself globally was huge. And this was huge in every industry, whether it was food, with our farmers, to items like tables and chairs, wood makings, right? Wood carvings, paintings, man, everything. It touched everything. So with with the web structure coming into play, or, the .com boom happening, we have this next step, which is middlemen and advertising. And they started infiltrating. You could consider Google as a middleman, because when you go online and you search something, Google is the one that's facilitating who shows up when you search. And this is known as something called SEO, search engine optimization. So the middleman make their money by advertising to you. This is what's important about this, because as we go further along in the video, you'll understand that this reason alone has held us back in our technology upgrades. So middlemen needing to make money from basic transactions or convenience, right? So in Google, they make their money by what? Sending you advertisement or having companies pay to advertise to you. So because we use Google for free, we give up our data, or certain amounts of our data, which means we give up, things we like to do, Google gets to see that. Things we like to search, Google gets to see that. Pictures we like to look at, things we hover over longer, Google gets to see those things, and it gets to sell advertisement based off of those movements online, right? So understanding that middlemen have created this structure where people like Google can get in between and make billions of dollars by flipping ads for companies, has created this stalemate structure when it comes to letting the internet grow up, right? So we're not going to go too deep in the weeds. You can always, please, as always, DYOR, do further research, right? Do your own research. Everything I say is backed by research, or at least try to make sure it is backed by pure searchable knowledge, okay? So moving on to the next step, Tradfi versus Robinhood. For savvy individuals who could never afford to be, accredited investor, to invest and start partaking in this lucrative, delicious market they call the stock market, right? So why is it Tradfi versus Robinhood? Well, traditional finance, aka Tradfi, is the finance where the stockbrokers would move money for you. But in order to have a stockbroker move money for you, you would have to be a accredited investor, be somebody who's legal, who can invest legally. And to do that, you actually have to make a certain amount of money a year, which, classes a lot of people out. So the point is that there was this wealth game playing behind the scenes that you had to have a certain amount of money to play. And it kind of created this knowledge gap where people who didn't have that amount of money never even talked about it, and so on and so forth. And it was taught throughout generations that you'll be excluded. So Tradfi, or traditional finance, blocks everyone out from getting the ability to gain money in this stock market, to get value on great companies like Amazon, great companies, you know what I mean? Like, I would say Robinhood is a decent company, great company, that's been around for years, like Walmart, other companies like that are tech driven, like Google, Electric, Tesla. So these companies, or strong companies that are just seeming to top of the charts, like Nvidia, you don't even need to know like how crazy they are, or what these companies are, or the names and the symbols. You just need to know that these companies are been around, and if they're not been around, they're setting themselves up to the point where they're going to be around for 20 plus years. So that's kind of what it is. It's like traditional finance with companies that have been around for 20 plus years. You're not even allowed to invest in them, because before Robinhood, you had to be an accredited investor. And they say this is, apparently doing good for the people, making sure you know money before you can, use it in the way you want to. But what? We work to be able to use money the way we want, which means you work to be able to invest in the way you want to invest. If you want to buy gold all day, you can buy gold all day. If you want to buy CDs all day, you can buy CDs all day. That's the point of freedom of speech. So to bring it back to traditional finance versus Robinhood has tapped the well. They've opened up a portal where it allows people like me to get inside the market and start investing for fractions on the pennies. I mean, we can invest with $2, $3 to $10 to $100 to $1,000, and it allow us people who don't make that large amount of money a year to get into this network and start creating wealth, start creating that good generational wealth too. So let's move on to the next tip. And the next tip, following up the Tradfi versus Robinhood, is the S&P 500, right? Because the S&P 500 and our 401ks is important. Knowing what this is important. The S&P 500 is an index that literally holds the top 500 companies in the U.S. sector. So these top 500 companies get bundled together, and the S&P 500 pretty much alters them in a ratio and invests in all of them like a pie. Each one has a bigger or smaller slice depending on how well it's doing. So if you're the top performing company in the S&P 500, like an Nvidia has been for a while this last year, then you have a bigger slice in the S&P 500. And that's how that works. And if you're the weaker company number 499, well, you probably have a smaller slice. So That's the way that works. And the way it connects to our 401ks is knowing that the S&P 500 is one of the safest index we can play in the stock market. It's the foundation of the stock market. If the top 500 companies in the US go out, they all go out of business. That'll put the S&P 500 out of business. But what's more incredible is that that'll put our economy out of business. That's the top 500 companies in the US sector. All those going away would destroy our economy. So yes, S&P 500 is your safety play. Now, the 401ks, which is our retirement funds, something we can get matched and offered throughout our jobs. We work 8 hours a day and we give them that percentage, and they invest that in a portion of that into the S&P 500 because they know how safe it is, and they know that it's always continually making money. 24/7, that thing is making money for them. So therefore, they are able to pay you out and able to fund your retirement. So they say. So with that being said, we want to get into this thing called centralized data, right? Centralized finance, centralized networks. What is centralized? Centralized is knowing that your value of something is being held in a central spot, hence the word centralized. And that value could be data, it could be gold, it could be money of any sort. And if it's being centralized, it's being held in one spot where is vulnerable because it's not spread out, right? So centralized data for this sense is, think of this with Google. If Google's data storage that holds all of our information for our profiles goes out, well, let's just say if they can't recover it from their towers, then we all lose out. And this is because they hold it in these simple towers that only Google has control of. Maybe the government the government probably doesn't have it, right? I would say some other private entities probably doesn't have these software or these data centers, right? Because they don't trust them. They want to make sure that your passwords and your wallets and the money you put in Google is safe. Same with Apple. The money you put in Apple, the passwords, the photos, they want to make sure all that stuff is safe. So they keep it under their control in their data centers. But this makes it centralized, meaning that if something goes wrong with these data centers, if somebody hold these data centers ransom or they hack them, blow them up, then that's all of our data gone. And of course, it's way more complex than that. I'm sure there's backup systems, but that's just a simple way of thinking about it. Centralized networks render you useless because they hold all the control. You don't have to control. And that could be your gold, that can be your money, that could be your artwork, that could be you putting $10 in the bank, $1,000 in the bank, $20,000 in the bank, and the bank going out of business and they're not able to give you your money yet. Yeah, it's insured up to $250K, they say, but how long will it take for them to actually come through and give you that money back? We should probably do some research on that and see how long that took, right? So knowing what it is helps us understand that the internet we have today is fractured. It is waiting to just be dismantled, as it has been constantly. So we had to eventually come up with something that was more, because technology upgrades, right? So we had to eventually come up with something that was more than centralized data, that was something that could spread it out, something that could make us more secure. And we'll get there. The breakout of Bitcoin consists of the best, I would say, technological advancement we've had yet, besides AI. So Bitcoin allowed us to send money instantly or quicker than we used to be able to send money with the traditional finance. And this doesn't just mean a few $1,000, right? This is like $1 million, $1 billion being sent over the matter of minutes, seconds, right? So this is incredible technology, because when you really look at how much energy is $1 million being sent in a matter of seconds, you understand that unlocks global trade, global settlement, right? That allows us to buy something way across the seas instantly and work with someone, have them work with us in time, send everything we need back, and get paid all in days time, all in 2 days time. This is incredible, because for a lot of people who have businesses like myself and know how crazy it is working with people overseas. Like, the payment system is terrible, right? So Bitcoin solves that payment system. You know, it's not just the internet. It solves the payment system. Now, just like how I say the breakout of Bitcoin refers to the dot-com boom a little bit, is because Bitcoin is the first of its kind, right? Which means that since it's the first upgraded internet that we finally have that allows us to settle money, massive amount of money in seconds, and send it anywhere we want in seconds with no one in between, securely. Well, that also means that there's many advancements, there's many upgrades left, there's many things that it didn't think of when it first came out because it's first of its kind. Remember BlackBerry? How many things did BlackBerry get wrong when it first came out? But Apple nailed it. And they sat back, waited, bought up what they need to buy up, and nailed the designs, right? So Bitcoin isn't the Apple in this new network. So it's important we learn what the Apple is in this new network. We'll get there. Just know that Bitcoin is the foundation. It's the AOL. It's the first software. So it has that storage of value. So it is number one. And because of that, it is the highest in price with crypto assets. It's the most liquid. It has the most value. It has the most money installed into that network because it's the first of its kind. It is the breaker of chains, for those who get that reference. Now, since Bitcoin has broken out, it's created this crypto software that allows instant money transfers, instant buying. You know, money is fast now, but being fast globally it just unlocks a whole new process, don't you think? That the fact that you can maybe buy something from a Japanese artist, something you'll never get the chance to get, you can buy it today, have him shipped and ready, and he's settled his money in seconds. And the guy is going to do his best work because he's already paid in full. And that's just an example, because we can go to many other ways when we talk about that, but we're gonna get in that further. Crypto is a software that allows the net's web structure, Web3, to be secure and send money securely. And not only send money securely, but lock away data securely, right? Secured through a system known as the blockchain network. So once you know that crypto is a software, we need to talk about how to actually use the software of crypto, right? Using the software of crypto is through a form of wallets, something that we use today. We have these physical wallets that hold these very secure things for us, money. It holds our digital cards. It holds our IDs. It holds keys sometimes, you know? So the crypto wallet does that in a sense. It holds your identity, which holds all of your assets, and those assets is whatever you deem fit. You know, whatever we have available in the crypto network. And right now, we have many things available as far as assets in the crypto network. One of these are having actual cryptos. You could say NFTs, right? You could say these decentralized applications, right? DeFi applications. You could say just cool projects that you guys probably never heard of that we'll touch on, that allow you to stake your crypto, you know, lock them away and generate more money. So these wallets allow you to do all these things while being traceable, because this is a secure network where everybody can see your movements and they can see it through these crypto wallets. So once we know that we have crypto wallets to use the crypto software, we need to know how to store our money, our value, or our assets that we use to hold in our wallets, right? So that is just a more, the way we can say having good storage, we can say things like storage in crypto consists of you owning your key. Now, when you have a wallet or you install a wallet, it gives you a key, a long phrase. If you use something like MetaMask, which is what we call a hot wallet, if you want to look that up as well for notes, MetaMask gives you 12 words. And these 12 words or phrases are used to identify yourself on the network you're using. So if you're using a Bitcoin network, you can use your wallet to find out what you have been doing on a Bitcoin network. If you want to use other networks, which we'll talk about, you can use that wallet that address to that wallet to see what you've been doing across the network. And this is important because this is one of the reasons why internet is shifting and why security is shifting with the internet. So with the ability of storage, we need to know that there are specific ways we should store crypto, or for right now we should, and that's through these things called hardware wallets. Now, yes, it's still a wallet, but when you get a basic crypto wallet, something like MetaMask, it's a 12-word phrase that is not too secure. I won't get too deep into details, because we'll cover many of that stuff, or I won't get too deep into details because I'll cover more of that stuff later in videos in depth, but in a singular video for wallets. But crypto wallets have these things called hot wallets, which are less secure, of course. That's why they call them hot, but they give you quick access, hence the word hot again. And then we have these wallets called, or your storage wallets, which should be your hardware wallets. And these wallets are USB drive type wallets or other formats where they allow you to have this almost like a two-factor authentication kind of thing going on, where, you know, you have to do two forms of verification to move your money or move your crypto wallet, move things around inside of it, right? Because there's assets that are being held in your wallet, and you can move those around using this hardware wallet in a two-factor formation, like kind of style, right? So that's how that works, you know. So once you have hardware wallets, it allows you to kind of separate yourself from basic vulnerabilities. Now, there's always more that you can partake in, which is clicking bad links to emails. Like, who can save you from that? Literally. So having good practices is important. But when it comes to crypto safety, you have to understand that spam comes in many forms. You got to read up on where is the latest spams, emails, text messages, and it calls you to click links, and it calls you to click links that cause you to open up your wallet and add your address and your seed words to your wallet, and now they can go in as you in your wallet and take your money, and this is how people get hacked. You know, so hot wallets are tough because they allow that to happen quicker. And having that two-factor authentication with the hardware wallet allows it to happen slower. But still, you can still be hacked the same way you can if you're just that vulnerable. And no one can save you if you're that vulnerable. We have to educate ourselves. So hopefully you'll find a channel like mine, like this one, and they are going to educate you properly before you just dive into crypto. Now that we've covered crypto safety, crypto storage, and crypto wallets in general, it's important to know that these things operate on a much more effective structure of internet, right? A structure where it's more secure, and that's the decentralized data. So we talked about centralized data, and these wallets, although we can go on Google, and Google is a centralized data point, these wallets sometimes connect to these centralized data points. So knowing that we don't always want to have our eggs in one basket, especially people who just, you know, give you slight warnings that there's no way you could be prepared for until you can't trade your money all of a sudden. You don't want to have your bank account, your digital bank account inside of these centralized places. You want them in something called decentralized finance, decentralized applications, aka decentralized data. Decentralized data is when you participate on the DeFi network, right? Now, the DeFi network is decentralized finance. I know I keep throwing these words at you like centralized and decentralized, but it's important because even though I say that a lot, decentralized means you take the central point of infrastructure out and you decentralize it, or you let's say you separate it and you spread out the risk, you mitigate the risk. So what that means is let's say if Google decided to decentralize their data, they would allow other companies outside of Google to hold our data that we log in with, and those companies would hold them in their towers and say, hey, whenever you need a copy of this stuff, we can send it to you in case something happens. Now, that is cool because if they were to do that, they would then probably become decentralized. And they will allow people like us to buy a Google data center, and I would be able to hold some of you guys' data when you search on Google, and I could then possibly get paid from Google. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, we do that in crypto, and that's what makes our network decentralized, at least somewhat like that. So moving on from decentralized data, we need to understand that once you can spread out that risk as far as who can hold that data and validate it, then you can finally have these protocols that come in place where they can take full advantage of this structure and they can allow us to do things on them. So similar to how AOL became of, and it didn't quite get the ball rolling with the top end programs. We had Google come in play, then we had think about MySpace, right? In between there, we have that similar thing going on in crypto, and that could be called Bitcoin to Ethereum. So Ethereum would be the new Google, is what I like to call it, because Ethereum allows us to do what we do on Google. We can search on Ethereum, and we can play games on Ethereum. We can buy things on Ethereum, sell things on Ethereum. We can store value on Ethereum, and we can also put our money in Ethereum and generate more money back. Passive income can be achieved on Ethereum. So just like Web 2, Ethereum, a Web 3 structure, I will say, allows us to do that same thing, but in a decentralized style, if you choose it, decentralized manner. Now, as always, I encourage you to further look up all the information I'm talking about. Embed this into your own knowledge, right? Make it wealth when it comes to sharing, agreeing, disagreeing, and commenting. It becomes wealth because we get to learn off each other so quickly that we benefit more than we do working at our jobs, right? So make sure you back this all this information I'm giving you up by research. And then make sure you comment and let me know if there's stuff I'm missing, I'm wrong at, or could do better. So let's continue with Ethereum. Ethereum is the new Google, and it allows us to do many things that we can do on Google on the new Ethereum or the new Web3 structure. So with Ethereum, what can we do other than the obvious comparison of Google? Well, we can settle money instantly, just like Bitcoin. So this is where Ethereum shines. It's not only like an internet protocol, it's also Bitcoin, but better. It took what Bitcoin could do good, it brung it to itself, and it also upgraded the things Bitcoin couldn't do. So Bitcoin struggles with allowing us to search on it or play games on it, trade on it. It's slow in that manner, right? Just like AOL was, or dial-up internet. So Ethereum's quicker and allows us to do these things instantly. And because of this, we now have games all across Ethereum. We have all this cool art, and all these people are now putting their property on Ethereum. It's actually incredible. They're putting their deeds on Ethereum. So Ethereum is the new internet, and it allows you to buy a piece of it. Because this is Web3, we can buy pieces of these new protocols, these new internets, through the usage of crypto. Crypto is almost that representation of the network, that the piece of it, right? Where you can grab it digitally and store value into it and gain value, gain revenue based on Ethereum's gain of value or networking effect. So with Ethereum comes specific things that we need to talk about. Ethereum is this thing called layer 1. What is a layer 1? Layer 1 refers to the base layer for transactions, or the base layer for the blockchain, meaning that Ethereum is what we use to operate on. It is our operation system in this new Web3. Now, because it is layer 1, it has a lot of usage on it, and therefore it causes it to almost have too much traffic in the street. If you know what that's like when you're driving and there's a lot of traffic, things move slow. So that can happen in Ethereum from time to time, but by slow moving in Ethereum is not with speed, because remember, that's something people worked on many, many years to fix is the speed of the internet. What Ethereum does is if people are clouding the street and there's many, many cars, it raises the gas fee to move on that street. And the raise in gas fee kind of encourages people to use the network less. And if they keep using it more, it'll keep raising the gas fee, keep using it more, keep raising the gas fee to the point where people will start using it less. And then they'll kind of dissipate a little bit. They'll go away and the gas fee will drop again. And then this is a constant ebbs and flow. So learning that, you know that, to be an Ethereum network, I need something that help me move around. If you want to buy an NFT, you have to move to buy that NFT. You have to pay the gas fee. If you want to buy another crypto like Bitcoin, if you want to do things like talk on these Web3 platforms, these new Web3 social applications, they cost gas. The reason is because that gas payment allows you to be secure. That gas payment allows you to operate the network efficiently and securely while proving that you back your words, that you back your movement, that you back your freedom to move with money. It's like buying Roblox dollars. When you're in the game, I know if you heard of the game Roblox, and for y'all that don't play it, haven't played it, that have kids that got it, right? You buy Roblox bucks, and then they get these digital dollars, and they get to do stuff in the game that's valuable. And that is because you bought the gas coin or the movement coin, the coin that transacts value. We have that in our physical world, right? We call that the dollar for people living in the United States. So in the digital world, on the Ethereum network, Ethercoin is the gas coin to move around in. So with that being said, layer ones are protocols where they are trying to be the next Google, the Web3 Googles, the new Ethereums, right? The better Bitcoins, the Bitcoin that can actually allow you to trade, play games, put your housing up for sale on there, all kinds of things, send millions of dollars, gamble, all kinds of things can happen on these layer ones. With these layer ones having so many people flood into them, and clouding the streets, right? Mini cars on the street. Well, Ethereum raises its gas because of that. Remember we talked about mini cars in the street, so Ethereum raises the gas price. Well, it developed these new systems. In comes layer 2. Layer 2 tries to solve the direct problem when Ethereum has a lot of cars on the road. When Ethereum has a lot of cars on the road, it charges higher gas, right? So layer 2s are this little next layer where they try to encourage the cars to, hey, don't use that main road. It's full. Use these side roads here. So a layer 2 is what you could almost refer to as a second network. The second network allows you to transact on it or do things on the second network that doesn't use the optimal amount of gas on the main layer 1. This is important because, I always say that, but you're going to get used to me saying that because it's all important. And it's simply because the layer 2s try to solve keeping fees low for us users. When I go on Ethereum every day, I want to make sure things I do up there, if I play a game, that it costs cheap, that it is cheaper, that I don't have to pay $20 to play a game that I want to play every day, that I can just play a few cents to maybe activate it, or a few cents to send a message, or a few cents a few dollars to trade. And it allows people to do everything they need onto it, but it charges a lot of gas because it's been flooded. We know that only more and more people are going to come into this brand new web structure, just like they did in the .com boom. It took people time, but they finally flooded in. So people are finally going to come into Ethereum more and more and more because it has only touched like 10% of the people that even use the internet. So it's like we have a lot to go, and we're already getting flooded with high gas. So layer 2s are here to try to solve that. Now that you know about layer 1s, layer 2s, and how they operate together on the Ethereum chain and various other chains, if you look them up, you'll see that there's some other layer 1s and other layer 2s that are connected to those. We want to get into the bread of being able to take full advantage of your value on these digital networks. That's trading crypto, right? So the point of trading crypto is to gain value, is to make more money from your money. Make more money with your money. If I have a US dollar coin that's represented on the digital network, it stays at $1 no matter what I do, no matter how far down value goes or up. It is promised to me that it'll stay $1 in value. Well, if I have 10 of those coins, I have $10. If I trade that 10 coins or $10 and I buy Ethereum, well, maybe when Ethereum goes up in value, maybe I make money. And that maybe is true. You make money when that value goes up versus the dollars. The dollar stays the same. So therefore, Ethereum travels upwards in value and your dollar will remain the same if you stayed there. But if you bought that Ethereum with those $10, and don't get confused, it's just $10 we're talking about, you could still earn potential. You can still earn more value. And this occurs at any time the market is alive. And the market is alive 24 hours a day. So when you're trading crypto, you have to understand that once I know I have to give tax, I want to create as less amount of tax liabilities as possible. I don't want to keep trading and keep creating the point where I have to keep giving the government more of my money that I make. I want to get in and I want to install my money into crypto and I want to leave it there over time. That's possible in crypto. So when you trade crypto correctly, you'll understand that there is the point where we need to play the cycle. And if you guys remember us talking about that earlier, the cycle comes in effect when you're trading crypto, and playing the bottom of the cycle and playing the top of the cycle allows you to have less tax events if you're holding in between that time and not selling. So trading crypto is important because it is the thing that gives us value. We have to do it. There's no other way around it. And when you trade, you are subject to tax. Now that we've gotten over trading and the fact that we have to give the man a piece of, the fact that we have to give a piece of our pocket away, we're going to talk about liquidity.
Whoa. Let me stop you right there. Now, before we move to liquidity, we're going to break this up into 2 videos so you can better digest this information. So if there's anything you think you should recover, please go back, watch it again, or do further research. As always, stay blessed and keep searching for knowledge. I'll see you all on video 2.